I've always been a traveler. In fact, I've traveled to over 16 countries around the world. But none of these travels compare to my experiences traveling the astral plane. Experiences that I will be sharing with you. The beyond body is not the astral body. It is a vessel in which I am able to travel to different worlds, different realities, without ever leaving my body. In this episode, we're going to get into what I believe the beyond body is, and of course, I'll be sharing my experiences with you. So, let's get into it. Out of all the things that I've talked about in previous episodes, this particular subject is going to be the most difficult for me to explain simply because I don't truly understand it myself. But I'm going to do my best to share it with you because I think it is very, very important. I should start from the beginning. In 2015, I had a horrible accident. And let me begin by saying that I did not have a near-death experience. There was no near-death experience involved in this. But after the accident, after I came home, something had changed. As most of you know, as all of you know that have watched the previous episodes, you know that I've been leaving my body since I was small, so I know how all those things work. But what was beginning to happen to me when I closed my eyes was completely different. So, like most folks that are listening to this, obviously I have to work and, we have to get up in the morning and we have to wake up early. And like most of you, when I wake up, I don't feel like getting up. I'm still feeling tired even if I've had sufficient sleep. So, you want to maybe, close your eyes for a few more moments, put your phone on snooze so it can wake you up in about 15 minutes so you can rest for a little while. And of course, that is what was happening with me. I would shut my eyes after I got up in the morning, right? So, but when I would shut my eyes, I was starting to see things. And it was freaking me out in the very beginning. The first time I saw something, when I shut my eyes, I saw a television, and the television was playing some sort of animated cartoon that I can't describe to you, that I can't ever remember seeing as a child. But I had this sense watching it, and so it was like, it's very difficult for me to explain because it was kind of like seeing a movie of someone watching television, but I was watching television through that person's eyes, and it felt as if that person was young. At least that was my first sense. That I was like a little kid in front of a television watching it. Now, the reason why I know that this wasn't a dream was because this happened literally a moment or two after I shut my eyes. And as most of us know, in order to dream, that takes some time to be able to get into that state. Even when you are tired, it takes some time. But I was fully conscious and I was able to see this television playing a cartoon. So that's kind of how it began. As time went on, I began to have other experiences. I remember once I had shut my eyes and I was moving or floating down this street. And above me, I could see a freeway overpass. And as I moved, there was this giant fountain, huge fountain just ahead of me. And I still recall the way the water surged upwards. And at the top, it bubbled, it was white and misty. And I still remember all of the details. And by the way, if it wasn't for my mom at this point, I think I would have absolutely gone crazy because she was completely understanding of this. She knows about my ability to leave my body. And as we talked about it, she was kind of starting to put it into perspective. I mean, what if this had been something that had been woken up in me after this accident? This ability to be able to see things. Furthermore, what if there was more to come? And this is kind of what my mom and I had talked about. And she kind of had that theory, I think, at first, in saying, don't just put this into a box. There could be more to this. Be open to whatever it is that happens next. And let me tell you something, I was not, absolutely not expecting the next thing that happened. Now, I should tell you that at one point, these visions, these things I was seeing, because there's more of these things that I've seen that I haven't mentioned yet, but I really kind of wanted to get to kind of the first time something really incredible happened. Um, at some point, my visions, the things I was seeing, it began to slow down and it wasn't happening as much. And I started wondering, well, why isn't it happening as much as it used to happen before? What's going on? Did I do something? Am I losing it? And I will always remember the first time that something really incredible happened. And I kind of want to read to you from the notes um, of what it was because I really want to kind of um, allow you to visualize what this truly was. Now, one morning, I had shut my eyes. And again, this is after I hadn't experienced anything visually for a while when I'd shut my eyes. And not more than a few moments later, suddenly, and now I'm going to read from my notes, I was in a recreation room of some sort. Now, I want to make sure you realize that, at least from my perspective, I was there in a body. This was not me leaving my body as a spirit. I was standing there in what I felt like was a body of perhaps flesh and blood, but I'm not sure. I'll continue reading from my notes here. I remember the floor was white and there were pool tables. There were teens and they were playing pool. And this is a very relaxed atmosphere, by the way. It was it reminded me of the kind of place where you'd have like kind of a youth center of some sort where kids would come, maybe like a boys club or something like that. Or, the Boys and Girls Club. I'm sorry, when I was in Boys Club, they called it Boys Club, but the Boys and Girls Club, where kids could do activities after school, that sort of thing. That's kind of what the atmosphere was like. Now, I started walking around. Now, if you could only imagine this, I was completely confused because I was like, how is it that I'm laying in my bed in my apartment and suddenly I'm here walking around in this room? And there are kids and they're playing pool and They don't seem to even really be disturbed by me at all. I think I can recall that some of them looked up at me, and at this point, I began asking, where am I? What is this place? And no one was responding. But I did notice that there was a kid further down playing pool that was watching me. He had a hoodie on. He had, I believe, light green eyes, brown hair. He may have been like 7 or 8 years old. He kind of reminded me of one of those kids you might see on a television show or something. It was very weird. He seemed like one of those kids you would see that would be cast in something, maybe a child actor. Now, he told me that I was in some kind of home. I can't remember the name of the place he gave me. So then I started asking, what city is this? What state is this? What's going on? Why am I here? And within moments, I was back. I transitioned back. Now, I don't want to say that I came back into my body because honestly, I never left. I was in what I'm guessing to be the beyond body. So the question still remains, what is the beyond body? Honestly, I really, truly do not know. What I do know is that I am exploring this and finding out more and more every day. But with each exploration comes more questions. And what I really want to know, what I truly, truly want to know from you is have you had similar experiences? Truly, have you gone through this? Are you going through something similar to this? And do you have any thoughts about what this might be? I have to admit to you, confession, that the Beyond Body is not a name that I came up with. My dear mother, who I love dearly, she is the one who came up with that name. I do believe this is a good point to end this episode. But trust me when I tell you, we will be exploring this subject further. I've had experiences, many experiences in the Beyond Body that I want to share. Thank you so much for coming on another journey with me. If you enjoy this content, please subscribe. Until next time, take care.